With us now is Salil Zaveri, and he's going to be talking to us about insurance, but more so from a 5,000-foot view, an overview. So welcome to the show. How are you?
Thank you, Donna. Thank you for having me today.
Now, you're more than just an insurance guy. Tell us a little bit about your company and the services that you provide.
Sure. Salilszaveri.com is the website, and I do consulting in 3 areas. The first is insurance. The second is sales consulting for people who want to increase their sales. And the third is people who want to actually fundraise, which is nonprofits. I can show them how to get more funds through various sources.
Now, what type of training did you go through in order to provide these services?
I was brought into the insurance business at age 18 by my dad, and my mom was also in the business. So between the two of them, I learned from them. And they were in the business from the time I was age 9. So I was hearing this around the house to start with. And then when I became an agent at age 18, I was in sales. Then I became a unit director for the company. Then I became a top producing agent. Then I became a branch manager, then a district manager, then a general manager. And our industry, because we represent so many different products, we're trained continuously. So I might have gone through maybe 2,000 different training classes on how to sell, and I'm able to share that with people who want to improve their sales. So insurance is one, sales coaching is another, and fundraising is a completely another area.
Now, because of the internet and all of the different things that have been happening on the internet, people get their insurance anywhere, right? How do you help them pick the right source?
Donna, there's 1,500 insurance companies, and the internet generally represents 500-600 of those companies. The better companies don't allow to be represented by an internet company. They want it sold by a broker or an agent because that creates a quality product for the company to evaluate from an underwriting point of view. So for people who are doing their own shopping on the internet, I think they're leaving out half the products. And they might be thinking they have the best product, but then they may be the 40th in the ranking. And they might be missing out 39 other great companies. So that's one area. The other area is that banks and brokerage houses are also selling insurance now. And I would say training is the issue. Because just as I'm not trained to sell stocks, or I'm not trained to do banking, I'm trained in insurance. The contracts have to be looked at correctly. Policies have different phraseology. And every company writes their own paragraphs on what's covered, what's not covered, and so many other nuances. And I don't think the stockbrokers or the bankers or the internet, or even if you call a single company directly to buy from their call center, is trained on understanding all the differences between the different carriers. So an independent broker who represents everyone would have an advantage to be able to see the phraseology that they've read from the various policies. And that's why I believe that's the way to go instead of doing the internet, the banks, brokerage houses, friends, relatives, because the training is important. I'm doing it 36 years, and I've seen a lot of changes over the years.
That definitely is what makes you unique. There's a few other things that make you unique. Why should somebody go to someone like you? You in particular, you.
Well, even amongst brokers, there are differences. Brokers generally choose a half a dozen carriers to represent. An agent represents a single company. So that single company has reasons why they give incentives to that agent to sell their own product as opposed to other carriers. Somebody who's representing a single company is going to earn vacation bonuses, extra support in terms of secretarial allowances. They're going to earn retirement packages that are improved based on production. So if that agent were to turn in the business to that primary carrier, they would get double the compensation. If they were to write for a different carrier, even through the primary company, because there are strategic alliances, and that agent can write some other companies, the compensation is generally significantly half or much less. I, as a broker, get paid the same pretty much from everyone. So I don't have those biases when I'm looking at carriers. I'm able to look at it and I'm able to compare it and I'm able to tell the client, do this. Either way, I'm going to get paid. I'm in a win-win situation. The agent is going to make twice as much money if they sell their own product. So I would say that the advantage I have over an agent is that I'm truly unbiased. The other thing is, over a broker I have an advantage because a broker generally represents a half a dozen carriers. Because there's 1,500, how do you get familiar with everything? So they want to, even as a broker, get bonuses. So they generally go to a half a dozen carriers to earn those bonuses. I don't worry about that. I have specialists. And each of these specialists are going to represent various carriers, various products. So I'm a consolidator of brokers. And by consolidating all the brokers, we get all the 1,500 companies covered. We also have the knowledge base, because these specialists, just like in medicine, if you were to go for your foot problem, you wouldn't go see a cardiologist. So in insurance, it's the same way. If you want long-term care insurance, you wouldn't want to talk to somebody who's been selling whole life insurance quite a bit. You want to talk to who's been doing that particular product. They've not only sold it, but they've serviced it perhaps 10, 20, 30 years. So they've seen the problems that occur in underwriting, problems that occur in claims. And if they haven't experienced it, how are they going to properly sell it?
And that's what you do, and you make it much simpler for people. What if somebody's already bought insurance from someone else? What advice do you give them? How can you best advise them?
Things change.
Okay.
I'll give you a simple example as life insurance, because that's easy. Most people have it, and they understand it somewhat. When I started, I was 18 years old. That was in 1978. Since 1978, and now I'm 54, I shouldn't say that on camera. Maybe 10 years from now when I look back, I'll be happy I was 54 as opposed to 64. But in these years, these 36 years, I've seen the mortality tables, which is calculated to see how long people live. A newborn child today would live to their mid-80s. When I started out in the 70s, 78, a newborn child would have lived to mid-60s.
Wow.
Now, and some cases early 70s, so it varied based on which table you were looking at. But because these numbers have improved, people are living longer, the insurance companies have repriced their product to be competitive and ethical and legal. Excuse me. But they don't go back to the clients and say, hey, you know what?
Yeah, we're going to save you more money now, right?
we're gonna cut your price in half or double your benefits. They won't do that. They'll extend that new price and new coverages amounts to the new client. But the existing clients are contractually bound to keep paying the old premium to the length of that policy. And the only way they're going to get the better price is if they come back to someone like me and say, look, this is what I've been sold. What's out there now? And we can look at the industry, see what we can qualify for, apply for it. We have a unique underwriting process, and that is we take an application from the individual who's considering alternatives. And we send that to all the carriers that we represent, which is just about every competitive company. And in doing that, we get back from the carriers offers. Just like if somebody was applying for a bank loan. Instead of going to one bank, wouldn't it be nice to go to all the banks? So we take one standard application and we send it to everyone. And we come back with offers to the client. And we say, this is what the offers are. What do you want to proceed with?
Wonderful.
Whereas the typical agent is going to turn it into their single carrier. They're going to come back with one offer. Anything bad that's found in those exams is going to be put on the MIB computer, and the customer is going to be flagged as a do not take. And all the other companies are going to see this. We're going to put this standard application in. If we don't like the way it comes out, we're not going to submit to the primary carriers right now. We're going to wait. So it's a different underwriting process.
That's excellent. So you really do care about your clients. I know you for a while now, and I think one of the things that you do offer them is your personal touch and your personal commitment to them, right? So how could somebody set up an appointment with you if they wanted to come in and have a consultation?
Well, I'm easy to access. On my website, salilzaveri.com is my cell phone number, my office phone number, email. And I would sit with them one-on-one, whether it's an individual or a business. And once I do a fact find and I determine what the problems could be or what they've been sold, then I would get my specialists involved based on what we need to do next. And maybe a half a dozen different specialists would be working together to come up with the right solution. Now, it doesn't cost the client more with my approach. because we share our commissions, me and the specialists.
Okay.
So if they were dealing with a typical agent or broker, that typical agent or broker is going to want to make 100% commission. So they're not going to bring anybody else into the picture. I'm going to work as a team, and whoever my specialist is for that particular need is going to have vast experience on that topic. And so the client will benefit. And the specialist and I share compensation.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for being here. Like I said, I've known you for a while. You have wonderful integrity, and I know that you have helped many, many families before. So thank you for what you do. You do business differently. You know, you're an in-depth person. So thank you so much, and I look forward to having you back on the show. Thanks again, Salil.
Thank you, Donna.
So Salil Zaveri, we've been talking about insurance and the difference between just a person that represents one insurance carrier as opposed to going to someone like Salil who can really kind of walk you through the process. So stay tuned for more on Live It Up. Donna Drake signing off right now.